Hello everyone, I'm Jim Hughes. This is Oxford News This Week. On this edition, how Oxford schools are actually preparing for a potential immigration raids. Staying safe in the Pontiac home with Pontiac home invasions, and our last story, we'll just call it the miracle of life. Sit back, you're watching Oxford News This Week. In the face of an executive action from President Trump, the Oxford School Board is preparing in case of immigration raids. President Trump signed executive orders directing the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, to crack down on undocumented immigrants, lifting bans on immigration raids in places previously considered sensitive like schools. In the past few weeks, Superintendent Dr. Tanya Milligan has been working with the Policy Committee to ensure all policies and procedures surrounding the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act are actually kept in place and in compliance. Additionally, Milligan has been working with the administrators and staff to put a plan in place if ICE does come to any of the Oxford schools to make sure that they are supported. She's been collaborating with the local law enforcement agencies to understand the requirements for the district. Milligan also says the district does not ask students if they are legal citizens, but educate everyone in public education as per the court case, Plyer versus Doe. Earlier this week, we sent a crew out to get an update about the structural damage that actually occurred, unfortunately, at the American Legion in December. Here's Post 108 Commander Dave Perry with more information on that story.
Well, first and foremost, we're here to serve the community wherever we can help veterans and their families. And that's the big part that we're going to be missing here for a while, because we're running short on funds because of all the damage here. Our business is cut in half because we're missing half of the building. So we're going to have to work on that. Our insurance company is behind us all the way. They're trying to help us with whatever they can help us with. We do have good insurance. That's a good thing. The museum has to be replaced. A big chunk of the museum was lost during the crash. The building itself suffered structural damage to the steel beams, the columns that hold up the roof and the beam that holds up the roof. Those have to be replaced, and that's the number one job that we're waiting for right now, is replacing the steel, which has been, all the engineering drawings have been done. The township's approved everything, and the steel has been ordered, but we're waiting for that to happen. Once the steel comes in, then we can get the crews in here and tear apart what we have to tear apart to get the beams replaced. That's the big deal. That's what holds the roof up, obviously. Until the roof is supported properly, we can't even be in that side of the building. It's not safe. With an ice load and snow load on the roof, we don't know what could happen, so we can't be over there. The main beam that needs to be replaced is an 18-inch I-beam that's about 45 feet long, and there's a column that needs to be replaced. It's a steel I-beam column that got hit by the vehicle and bent it, actually took it out of the foundation where it was anchored. And that was what was holding up the big 45-foot beam. So those two things have to be replaced, and a bunch of ancillary beams that are associated with that. Then all the cement block work has to be done. Floors have to be replaced. The ceiling tile all has to be redone. The museum parts the showcases have to be replaced. And then all the museum contents that have been put in storage and in cleaning will come back and be reinstituted into the showcases like they were, hopefully. Some of the stuff that's been damaged will not be replaceable. Some of it will need repair. We don't even have a full grasp on what we need to do right now. But what we do need is for the community to understand that we really need help to make sure we can keep going here. We're a nonprofit, so everything that we bring in here is used to keep this building open and to keep the support for the community and for our veterans, which is at the top of our priority list. So we need some help to keep that going, to keep us solvent while we're getting the repairs done. All credit to Belfor and our insurance company. They're doing everything they can do to keep us going. but it's not going to be a piece of cake. We're on thin ice here for a little while. The repairs may take as long as 4 months to 6 months from when it happened, which was December 29th. So we're looking at later in the spring, early summer. We don't know for sure. Once the steel is in that I talked about, that'll clear it up for us pretty good as far as the timing goes, because everything else will follow that, and there's not long lead times on any of that stuff. The steel is the big problem, or the big hang up for timing. So we've got to stay alive during that. The big issue with that is we've got Lent coming up, and Lent is our, we make most of our revenue, at least half of our revenue for the whole year during Lent for our fish fries. And that is going to be grossly curtailed here for sure. So that's where we could use help. We'll probably be putting out some fundraisers in the near future, but anything anybody wants to do to help would be grateful.
Sanitary pipes are coming to Stony Lake Township Park. Even though the park see less visitors than during the summer season, work is already underway to make a better visitor experience. Oxford-based company Sarandon Construction is hard at work installing 855 feet of sanitary sewer pipe at the park. The pipe will be used to connect the park's restroom to the public sewer system. This will actually allow the facility to stop relying on aging septic systems. The connection is possible because of a township sewer line work last week. An 18-inch diameter concrete sewer line along M24 from Harriet Street to Dunlap Road was already coming in handy in more ways than one. She may be the only 17-year-old, but this Lake Orion musician has already released her first album. The Oakland Press reporting that Ella Goetz, a senior at the High Point Hybrid Academy, she grew up with a mother who was a Broadway dancer and a father who is a writer, poet, and co-owner of the music venue 20 Front Street in Lake Orion. She is a fourth of 6 sisters and a longtime member of the Callio Songwriters Collective, where she teaches classes as well as in the Pontiac School District. Her debut album is entitled Walking Daydream. She was inspired growing up listening to Fleetwood Mac, Joni Mitchell. Artist said she's opened her eyes in what kind of music she wants to make in the future and the stories that she actually wants to tell. The album is actually produced by Daniel Zott of the band Junior, and features 10 original songs plus cover of Joni Mitchell's Both Sides Now. It's sturdy melodies mix and spacious soundscapes with the earnest lyrics. She's continuing to write and record with Zott and plans a gap in the year to concentrate on music after she graduates. The Oakland County Sheriff Michael Burchard is a Sheriff of the Year during the Major County Sheriffs of the America, also known as MSCA, Annual Policy Conference in Washington. Burchard was honored with the 2024 award named Sandra S. Hutchins Award. It honors a former president of the MSCA. The MSCA is a professional law enforcement agency that represents the largest sheriff offices in the country. Burchard was a past president and currently serves as a vice president of the governmental affairs area, serving as leadership positions in the MSCA for 25 consecutive years. This is the third time in his career that Burchard has actually been named Sheriff of the Year. He has earned the title from the Michigan Sheriff's Association in 2022, and again in 2016. Earlier, he received that award from the National Sheriff's Association, becoming the only sheriff in Michigan to receive both awards. Now in his 17th term, Burchard is the longest-serving sheriff that Oakland County has actually had. Pontiac residents are actually urged to keep their windows and doors locked as Oakland County Sheriff's detectives look for a man accused of multiple home invasions. The most recent incident happened last week, and I do believe that he might have actually been apprehended already. Again, this suspect was apparently frightening young girls. Monica Smith, her mother, Monica Smith, says the suspect got into the home by entering through a window. She says that she and her children have already left their home and do not want to go back. According to the press release from the Oakland County Sheriff's Department, even though the suspect has actually been apprehended, This is definitely probably a reminder to keep your doors and windows locked. Make sure not to leave any valuables in the car, especially garage door openers, which could usually easy access into the home. Just a reminder that safety is on the onus of the owner as well. Once again, that the suspect actually was apprehended this past weekend in the local area. A GoFundMe is now open to support of a mother of 3 victims of a tragic fire in Oakland County. Liz Osinde Olara is the mother of 3 children who died in West Bloomfield in a home fire. The victim's mother is asking for financial support after losing the trip. The three siblings were home when the fire started and later died of their injuries at a local hospital. West Bloomfield police and fire officials say there were no working smoke alarms in the house. Police are currently investigating the circumstances surrounding the fire to determine at the greatest extent possible what had actually happened. The findings will again be sent to the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office for review. They will continue to update the story as it becomes more relevant. It is time, and more than 313, the Michigan Public Service Commission is actually adding a second area code to Metro Detroit. All phone numbers that begin with the 313 are expected to be using in the fall of next year the new area code 679. Although nobody with the 313 area code need to change their phone numbers, the change will change things in other ways. If the Detroit area has 2 area codes, people making local calls could be required to dial the full 10-digit number as compared to the 7 digits. This could mean some devices would need to be reprogrammed, like auto dialing equipment, medical devices, and home security systems. However, there are no changes for the 911 or abbreviated dialing codes. The Michigan Public Service Commission will make a final decision in May 31st to be quite exact, on how that will be handled at a public hearing. That public hearing on March 9th at the Wayne County Community College District's downtown Detroit campus. Anyone interested to attend that presentation, you're welcome to ask questions, make comments to this new potential change in the phone numbers. In our Behind the Lens segment, from the food truck to the storefront. Check out this photo. Slap Box, a smash burger joint opening right in the downtown Oxford area. Located on the South Lapeer Road, Slap Box started as a food truck, but 2 young first-generation Americans, each burger made with 2 100% halal pure beef smash patties topped with house sauce and seasonings. Along with the burgers, they also sell loaded fries, wings, pudding cups. Congratulations to that storefront. And you're welcome here in Oxford, the new Slap Box. In our last story today, it's called The Miracle of Life. Dave Kenny will have Auto Talk, Science, and the News. I'll have a brief look at our sports. Again, you're watching Oxford News This Week.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from Automotive News. Cadillac is giving its V-Series badge to its first electric vehicle, the Lyriq midsize crossover, and said the high-performance variant will be its fastest vehicle ever. The 2026 Cadillac Lyriq V, which enters production this year at General Motors Assembly Plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee, will surpass the original Lyriq in performance and accelerate from 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds in a driving mode called Velocity Max. The Lyriq V will start at $79,990 with shipping, $20,000 more than the standard 2025 Lyriq's base price. It'll be sold globally, with sales launching initially in the US and Canada. Our traditionalists will come to the brand because they're going to get a great Cadillac experience. But I also think we're going to offer a competitive advantage in the marketplace as you look at our vehicle versus other competitors out there, John Roth, Vice President of Global Cadillac, told reporters. Lyriq V just hands down both from a styling standpoint as well as a performance standpoint, and is really going to deliver what a customer expects in a Cadillac. The 2026 Lyric V will offer 615 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque in standard dual-motor all-wheel drive. That tops the 365 horsepower and 325 pounds-feet of torque on the standard 2025 Lyric with single-motor rear-wheel drive and 515 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque offered with dual-motor all-wheel drive. The V-Series debuted on the racetrack in March of 2004 and reached production on the 2004 CTS V sedan. It is also sold on the gasoline-powered CT4 and CT5 sedans, including black wing variants and the Escalade full-size SUV. In August, Cadillac revealed the opulent Velocity concept as a study of how an EV could evoke the high-performance technology and luxury of the V-Series line. David Stutzman, the Lyric V's chief engineer, said that there will be comparisons. The opulent Velocity is a future-looking vehicle. The Lyric V's 102 kilowatt-hour battery pack will provide a Cadillac estimated 285-mile range. The original 2025 Lyric has an EPA estimated 326-mile range and a rear-wheel drive, and as much as 319 miles in all-wheel drive. Its high performance will be boosted by standard continuous damping control and lowered multi-link suspension. Competitive mode will aid traction management and vehicle agility, Cadillac said. Drivers can personalize and save performance settings with V mode, accessible through a button on the steering wheel or through the Drive Mode app on the 33-inch infotainment screen shared with the standard Lyric. Engineers developed exterior and interior sounds that reflect the performance intended from a V-Series, Cadillac said. Other V-Series, you can experience the roar of a V8, Stutzman said. We obviously don't have that in an EV, so we curated an exclusive EV sound. It's a multi-layered, unique sound experience designed specifically to be paired with that driving experience for the Lyric V. The Lyric V will have unique design to the power front fascia and side rockers and optional character fiber accents. Its 22-inch wheels will incorporate an etched V-Series logo. Summer tires are standard with all seasons optional. Brembo performance front brake calipers come standard. The Lyric V has a dual-pane augmented reality head-up display, which Stutzman says allows information to be projected at different depths in the driver's field of view. GM Super Cruise hands-free driver assist technology will come standard with a 3-year OnStar package, Cadillac said. Quite the car. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Welcome back, Oxford Sports. Welcome to this week's Sports Report. We're highlighting a performance of the ages. It is a thrilling overtime victory over Lake Orion when the Oxford varsity basketball team racked up 17 consecutives. The 79-67 score brings them to another tally on their undefeated record and a step closer to the state championship. Oxford's Jake Champagne, he scored 45 points, breaking the school record for the number of points scored in a game that had been left standing for over 50 years. Last week, he also pulled ahead a career high of 16 rebounds. Oxford's Luke Steffen actually also added 13 points with a win. Oxford is now firmly at the first place in the OAA White Division League standings with 10 out of 17 wins of the league. Go to the Wildcats. Those games can be seen right here on OCTV. Congratulations to the Oxford wrestling team for taking home the district championship title. The Wildcats defeated Port Huron Northern last week to complete a complete shutout, 75-0. Then they took Lapeer in a district final, brought home a win 36-27 in that area, and the varsity team sealed their deal with the district title. The next team event, regionals, will be held at Oxford High School later in this month. Also want to thank Mr. Meyer, who graciously comes aboard and calls our wrestling matches for OCTV. Watch for that program. It's very entertaining, and Mr. Meyer, he always volunteers his time to be a broadcaster. Thank you, sir. We'll be back in a moment. Dave Kenny, he's got one more segment. We have our last story coming up. You're going to want to stay tuned for this one. We call it the miracle of life.
When a crisis hits, close to home and across the globe, nonprofits are on the front lines, ready to serve.
Keep coming.
The demand for charitable services has skyrocketed, and nonprofits are rising to meet the needs. Healing, nurturing, rescuing, honoring, protecting, caring, inspiring. The work of philanthropic organizations of all sizes, across all missions, has never been more important, and it's donors and volunteers like you who make all this possible. Thank you. Together, we change the world. The Nonprofit Alliance.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Telescopes around the world are currently trained on a building-sized asteroid hurtling in Earth's direction in an effort to try to understand whether it might hit us. Our current best guess is that this object, called 2024 YR4, has a 1 in 53 chance of striking in 2032, the highest risk of any known asteroid. But what does that number really mean, and when should we start panicking? Astronomers are continuously tracking thousands of asteroids as they move through our solar system. This information is then collated at the Minor Planet Center based at the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory in Massachusetts, from which space agencies can calculate the trajectory and possible impacts with Earth. But this is a messy process. Because no observation is perfect, the data will have errors and uncertainties that can lead to a wide range of different projected orbits. The proportion of these orbits that intersect with Earth is how the chance of impact is calculated, says Juan Cano at the European Space Agency, similar to how meteorologists use multiple weather forecasts to estimate the probability of rain. With more data, this cloud of uncertainty shrinks, and astronomers can say with greater certainty whether an asteroid will strike. The chance of 2024 YR4 hitting Earth, for instance, has been upgraded from 1 in 83 since it was initially spotted in December 27th, first to 1 in 67, and currently to 1 in 53. It will probably change again with more observations. If the asteroid is on a collision course with Earth, then this number will slowly approach 100%. But the scenario in which it narrowly misses Earth will also look similar until astronomers get enough data on the trajectory to be able to call it a close shave. The uncertainty is going to be reducing. The impact probability is going to be increasing until the moment when the Earth falls out of that uncertainty region, says Cano. Along with the risk of a collision, what makes 2024 YR4 particularly concerning is its estimated diameter of 40 to 70 meters, which is larger than the so-called Chelyabinsk meteor that hit Russia in 2013, injuring people and damaging buildings. That space rock was estimated to be only 20 meters across. Combining the impact risk and size gives a score on the 10-point Torino rating system that reflects the likelihood of consequences. 2024 YR4 is currently rated at a 3, high enough to trigger several international bodies to take further action. The United Nations-affiliated International Asteroid Warning Network, which coordinates telescopes around the world, will study the asteroid more closely, while the UN-endorsed Space Mission Planning Advisory Group, or SMPAG, will begin considering whether to draw up an asteroid deflection mission similar to NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test, that's DART, that successfully knocked a 160-meter-wide moonlet called Dimorphos off course in 2022. Such plans would need to kick into gear surprisingly soon. In April, 2024 YR4 will fly beyond the view of most telescopes on Earth and won't be bright enough to see again until 2028, before disappearing once more until just before a possible impact in 2032. That means groups like the SMPAG need to make a decision based on the available evidence within a couple of months, given the amount of time it takes to plan a mission. Even this time frame could be tricky, however, says Kano. 8 years would be very, very tight. We typically need between 3 and 5 years to construct and build a spacecraft in order to do this job, and then we would also need between half a year and a year to fly to the object. A further wrinkle is that SMPAG's rules means that it can only recommend the deflection mission if an asteroid is bigger than 50 meters, but the current uncertainty range for 2024 YR4 straddles that figure, says Kano. For now, all we can do is wait for more data. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
What is dementia? Is it the same as Alzheimer's? What is vascular dementia, Lewy body, FTD, TBI, and CTE? If someone has memory loss, does that mean they have dementia? Millions of Americans ask these questions every day. I did too, and I learned. My wife Ginny developed dementia. I didn't know what to do or what was coming next. I'm Kevin Jameson, volunteer and president of the Dementia Society of America. I'm excited to offer you a free guide to understanding dementia. It's filled with facts about dementia, care planning, how doctors can help, and ways to keep your brain as healthy as possible. The Dementia Society of America is a national nonprofit, and we're ready to answer your questions. You want to live life to the fullest. I know that. Ginny did too, and I'm confident that we can help. Get your copy of the guide. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
Back with you, and it's now time for the last story. You know, words can't really describe the roller coaster of emotions that the Foucault family must be feeling right now. You would think being far out on third baseline at a Tigers game and a first pitch foul from Tiger slugger Riley Green with you and your dad would be one of the highlights in itself. Well, 97.1 radio host Dustin Fiocco topped that, and in his own words, this is in his own words documented, words can't describe the roller coaster of emotions my family is currently feeling. At 9 p.m., I left to go do my radio show, the Foucault Show, 97.1 The Ticket. 9:15, my mom took Bree, his wife, to the hospital for what she had thought was really bad stomach cramps. At 11:55 that same evening, while wrapping up his show, he found out his wife had more than a stomach problem. His wife was pregnant. 12:04, Aiden Armand Fiocco was born. What a crazy chain of events the last several hours have been. Bree had no symptoms or signs of the pregnancy until she went into labor, just a handful of hours before the actual birth. Obviously, they were shocked, overwhelmed, didn't know that they were going to be parents at the end of that day, but clearly God handed them a plan for their family that they were unprepared for as they are in this journey. They just hope and pray that they can usher a young and healthy Aiden into the world. All prayers to the family, and greatly appreciated that they shared this story with us. Like I said at the beginning of the story, the miracle of life. That's going to wrap it up on OCTV. Oxford News This Week again can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 on the AT&T UVerse system. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Amazon Fire Stick, and the Roku app as well. If you have a show idea, maybe you'd like to volunteer, contact OCTV. Give them our office a call at 248-628-9658. A special thank you going out to producer and director himself, Kyle Snage, our miracle around the studio. News writer extraordinaire Allison Miller, station manager Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, congratulating the Foucault family once again. I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I invite you back next time when again we will take a look at Oxford News This Week.